Jagrata, Jam Masters. At some point in your life, in a person's life, they do this thing called waking up, hopefully. What does it mean? It means you realize that what you have been doing your entire life is trying to be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what we do, isn't it? We try to be okay. And there are lots and lots of worldly and spiritual teachings that are about how to try and be okay. What do you need? How do you get what you need? How do you attract to yourself what you need? How do you find a good relationship? How do you find your soulmate? Just etc., etc., etc. Real spirituality, which is why you all come out here, is not about getting what you want. It's about finding out why you need it. Like, why do you need things? Why do you need people to like you? Why do you need relationships? Why do you need people to give you love? Why do you need people's respect? Why do you need a job that encourages you and enthuses you? Who dares to ask the real question, which is, what's wrong with you that you have all these needs? Not how do you satisfy them? Not what's the right way and the dharmic way and the holy way and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why do you have needs? Why are you not okay? Why are you not in a state of bliss that is so high at all times that you have trouble going to work? Not because you don't want to, but because you really want to. You are always inspired by every single thing you do. You can't wait to go to work. You can't wait to come home. You can't wait, you can't wait, you can't wait. You can't wait to find out that your significant other is home when you come home, and you can't wait to find out that he or she is not. Isn't this fun? Oh boy, I get to be alone. Oh boy, I get to be with somebody. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You can't wait to get old. Oh boy, I wonder what I'll look like. I wonder what it'll be like. I wonder what arthritis feels like. Why are you not like that? Why are you not in a state of absolute joy, excitement, all the time, every second of your life? Why do you not feel so much love that you have trouble containing it, holding it? It just pours off of you, period. Not that you need something in order to feel love. Love is inside. You feel love inside yourself, don't you? I'm not teaching you anything. You feel it inside yourself. You feel joy inside yourself. Well, then it's inside of you. I am so confused. How can it be that if the love is inside of you, that you need someone or something or a situation or travel or seeing things or having people compliment you or whatever the heck it is? If it's inside of you, it's yours. So the question is, why are you not feeling that love all the time? Why are you not feeling enthusiasm all the time? Do you sometimes feel enthusiasm for what you're doing? Where do you feel enthused? Again, inside. Where do you feel love? Inside. Where do you feel happiness and joy? Inside. Where do you feel excitement? Inside. Well, if it's inside, why don't you feel it all the time? What is wrong with that question? Why does it have to be that you need something outside in order to feel something inside? There, go home. It's a serious, reasonable question. And guess what? There is a perfectly reasonable answer. Who would like to hear that answer? All right? Because the truth of the matter is, you do not need anything outside in order to feel what is already inside of you. But that's not our experience in life. That's not the data we collected over time. All right. So what's going on? Well, the first question is there joy or love inside? Yes. How do you know? Because you have felt it. You have felt joy. You have felt love. You have felt enthusiasm. You have had moments, I don't care if it's just a moment, moments in your life that are high, and they're inside. Why is it that if you're in an intimate moment, that your eyes are closed? Because it's drawing you inside. Because the experience you're having is inside, and therefore it draws your consciousness back into it, and it's like meditation. Okay? So I'm telling you, that's our starting point. Of course there's joy in there. Of course there's love in there. Of course there's inspiration in there. Why don't I feel it all the time? Why do I need certain situations so that I feel it? Okay, I told you I will answer that. And you know what? It's the most important answer you'll ever hear in your whole life, because it determines the direction of your life. literally the direction of your entire life from this moment forward. Are you going to tolerate that it is inside of you, but you don't feel it? You need something outside of you to feel it. So therefore, I'm going to spend my life finding the something or some things outside that will let me feel it once in a while, because you do not feel it all the time. It's conditional. It's conditional love, conditional well-being, conditional joy, conditional happiness, conditional enthusiasm, based upon the conditions that are unfolding in front of me will determine how I feel. I don't get to determine how I feel. The conditions will determine how I feel. If somebody comes up to me and disses me, I don't feel so good. If somebody comes up to me and lauds me and just throws all the accolades all over me, how great I am, woo, I feel pretty good. It's conditional upon what is going at the moment in front of you. So you either spend your life, which we all do, people do, almost everyone, spend your life looking outside to find what it is that will make you feel that, and then trying to keep it. And looking outside to see what takes it away from you, or maybe even makes you feel terrible. We didn't discuss that. Yeah, you can feel love, but you can feel terrible things too, can't you? And the same thing, the conditions outside can make you feel depressed and hurt and angry and et cetera, et cetera. Oh, those are in there too. Okay. So you spend your life trying to find the things that will make you feel high and get away from the things that will make you feel depressed or low. And that defines your life. So basically, you get to the point where there's another way of life, which very few walk that path. And it is the spiritual path, which says, wait a minute, if this stuff is inside of me, why do I need something outside to feel what's inside of me? So what I'm going to do is look inside to find out why I don't feel this all the time, instead of accepting, tolerating that I have to have certain situations outside that will let me feel myself inside. If it's inside of you, go inside and find it. Find out why you don't feel it all the time. Not spend all of your time going outside to try and find something that will help you feel it, and then making sure you keep that and that they still love you. You have a problem, don't you? It goes that way, doesn't it? Just because somebody loves you once, doesn't mean they love you. What will you love me tomorrow? Okay? You know what I'm saying to you. Do you want to live your life that way? Or do you want to sit there and say, wait a minute, if it's inside of me, this is silly. I don't care if everybody else is doing it. It doesn't interest me. It's inside of me. I am going to find it. And I'm going to find out why it needs these conditions. All right, so now let's get right down to work. Ready? Roll up your sleeves. If you want to find out why it needs the conditions, watch the conditions it needs. And instead of getting all involved, oh my God, I feel love. Oh my God, this makes me happy. Oh my God, I like traveling. Oh my God, I don't like traveling. Whatever the heck it is. Instead of just totally getting enmeshed in that, I'm asking you to do an experiment. Pay attention. What is it? What type of person turns me on? What type of person turns me off? What kind of situation turns me on? What kind of situation turns me off? What do I like doing? What do I not? How about that's the easiest, right? What do I like doing? What do I not like doing? What are my preferences one way or another? And you get to the point, you look at it, and I'm telling you what you're going to see. That's not random. What turns you on doesn't turn her on. In fact, it turns her off. What's that about? Either the thing is turn-onable or it's turn-offable. What's its quality? You know, a rock's a rock. Air's air. They got qualities. Well, how come everyone interact differently with all these things? Don't they? God, just become a scientist. Master said, Yogananda once said that meditation is entering the laboratory of soul research. That's what you're doing. You're getting wise instead of just following these random energies. So you look outside, you see what it is, and I'm telling you that you will be able to see that there's a reason that that is happening. And the reason is associated with your past. Always. Now, we have some far-off past, which I won't talk about, that you may not see, but it is associated with your past. If you loved your sister a whole lot, and she had a certain kind of hair, and she wore it a certain way, and you meet somebody, and they're wearing their hair that way, I am telling you, you will feel more open toward that person than you would if you really didn't like your sister, and she really messed you up bad, and here, give me a break. There, that's the biggest clue you'll ever get. That explains why you have conditions that turn you on and turn you off. Why? Because instead of just having love inside, which you have, and having joy inside, You have stored these things inside, these impressions in your mind that remind you, right? Remind, the nice word. It brings it back to mind. It reminds you of what you felt before. So now, that's it, I'm telling you. I'll talk about it more, but you should be wise enough to understand, oh yeah, I did this. I made it conditional. I had situations that happened in my past that left impressions in me that I kept. And now, when I should be feeling love and joy, it's only if they match those conditions a certain way. That's why it's conditional. If I summarize it to Cliff Notes, Mickey Notes, all right, that would be it. You can go home. You stored stuff inside of you that is blocking the flow of your energy. That's blocking your Shakti. That's blocking your Chi. That's blocking your spirit. That's blocking your love. There's no one in there but you. It's your love. It's your mind. It's your heart. It's your Shakti. Nobody can get in there and mess with it. Nobody's ever gotten in there. You know my favorite saying? It's a single occupancy apartment. That's where you live. Just you. Someday you'll find out that behind you there's more. But in terms of what's in there, it's just you. So if you messed it up, you messed it up, and you got to own it. Events happen. They do. When they come in, sometimes they have nice vibrations. Sometimes they don't. The Buddhists call that the nature of things. A rattlesnake all coiled up and hissing 11 feet away from you is not the nicest experience. No, it's scary. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being scary. You know what? It should be scary because it's telling you to back up. But then when the snake crawls away, I don't understand. It's gone. There's not fear anymore. But it's not gone inside of you, is it? You kept it inside of you. I don't like snakes. I don't want to walk in the woods anymore. I don't want to go to Arizona. Lots of rattlers out there. You did this. You kept it inside of you when it could have just passed through. There's no reason it stays inside of you except that you kept it there. Who's you? Now we're getting down to real spirituality. You in there? In there? Do you do stuff in there? Do you have hands in there that can push things away and grab things? And all right? That's you. That's the consciousness. The only power inside of you, the only power inside of you is you, is your awareness of being. And that's tremendous power. We can discuss that later. You, the witness, the consciousness, the awareness of being. Are you aware that you kept that inside of you? Did you purposely keep that inside of you? I don't ever want to see a snake ever again. And you think about it and you keep it, even though it's gone. It's gone. It's not there. In yoga, we call that a samskara, an impression that you kept inside of you instead of letting it pass through because you weren't comfortable with it or you were comfortable with it. What do you mean? There's positive and negative samskaras. You all like to think about the negative ones. There's positive ones. You have an experience that really turns you on. You know, somebody comes and will walk up to you. So I think you're the most beautiful person I've ever met in my entire life. So humble just to look at you. I can't even stand it. Okay. Well, that's nice. Okay. Well, then I walk away. It didn't stop inside of you. You understand that. Give me more. I want that. And that's called clinging. Buddhists call that clinging. So you have resisting and clinging. Some events you push away because you don't want them to come into you all the way back. You keep them at a distance, like the rattlesnake and like the person who hurt you and so on and so forth. And some you cling to because they were so nice, you don't want them to go away. Those are negative and positive samskaras. And guess what? They both cause the same amount of trouble. I know you don't want to hear that. They both cause the same amount of trouble. I'll show you. Somebody comes up to you, says the really nice things, and says, I'll call you later. Every time your phone rings, your heart's going to jump. And if it's not that person, you get disappointed. And if they never call you back, whoa, I don't want to see what's going on inside of you. All right, it's going to be terrible. And what if you see them again 6 months later after they never called you back for 6 months? How do you feel about them? Oh, so that positive samskara thing didn't work out so good, did it? Because you want to have it again. You want to experience that again. In other words, don't be here now, be there then. You're going to hold on to that thing. And you're going to say, I want this to happen. I want to stay in this situation. I want that always to be here. I want to own it. I want to possess it. I want to keep it. It's mine. So don't say anything nice to somebody. Careful. It's just mine. It's now mine. You stay here. And you behave the way I want you to, because I really like that feeling. So if you get a feeling and experience that you're not willing, what's wrong with sitting there saying somebody said something nice to you? Isn't that nice? I just had a nice experience. Guess what? There'll be another experience immediately after that. Well, maybe that was even nicer. You're not going to know, because you're caught in that one. Do you understand that? But we don't have to worry about the positive samskaras. That's going a little too far. That's advanced classes. You're welcome to have positive samskaras. You're welcome to do what you want with them, okay? They're not the problem. The problem is the negative ones. Have you ever had anything that hurt you? Has anything ever hurt you? And it could just be somebody didn't say hello, right? Or it could be that somebody hurt you. Something happened. They got robbed, they got mugged. I mean, all kinds of things go on, don't they? Well, what happens to those? Because they're real. They happen. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm not sorry. I'm not compassionate. I'm compassionate. You know how compassionate I am? I want you to be able to handle that happened without building a samskara about it. That's how compassionate I am. Compassion doesn't mean, oh, you poor thing. Oh, my God, that must hurt so much. That's just buying into keeping the thing. My opinion is, when did it happen? Well, when I was 5. And how old are you now? 75. Okay, has it happened again? No, it just happened that once. So you held on to this thing for 70 years. It bothered you once, 70 years ago. Mommy, daddy, sister, brother, somebody did something. And now for 70 years it's bothered you. Well, that can't be mommy, daddy, sister, brother, because they're not even there. You did that. That's called compassion. Do you understand that? Not buying into the melodrama that we end up because we kept these samskaras. Compassion, like the Buddha said. He said all life is suffering. He didn't walk around and say, oh, you poor thing. Oh, my God. No, we sat there and said there's a reason, and you can get rid of that reason. All life is not supposed to be suffering, but if you hold on, now I'm going to challenge you with the big one. What would happen if you made a collection of every bad experience that ever happened to you and kept it inside of you? What would it be like inside? Whoa. That doesn't sound like a nice place to live, does it? So the example I used was, what would happen if you ate a dinner at some restaurant and it made you sick? This happens sometimes, okay? You eat bad food, didn't sit well with you. Do you ask for a doggy bag to take it home? And I don't mean for the doggy. You take it home, and there's a room. It's a special room, really special room. You hold it very sacred, very close to your heart. And everything that ever made you sick, you go in there every morning and you take a little taste to remind yourself how sick it made you. Because you don't want to forget that, do you? That's really important, to make sure that we remember how much it hurt us. And what would your life be like if you did that? Because I'm telling you, that's what your life is like inside. And I don't care whether you think you're high and spiritual or whatever it is. You have collected every single thing that ever bothered you, whether it be happened today, whether it be happened 5 years ago, everything. They're still in there. How do I know? That's what happens when somebody reminds you of that. That's what happens when somebody says something and you actually sit there and said, well, my father used to talk to me like that. I don't need to be in a relationship with somebody who talks to me like my father. Well, the trouble is you're talking to a lady, a friend of yours. It's not your father. But it brings it up, doesn't it? And all of a sudden you feel bad. Well, of course you feel bad. Of course you feel bad. Because you stored bad inside of you, and now if anything reminds you of that, it starts to come back up. What starts to come back? Feeling bad. But you don't want to feel bad. Now we're back out there manipulating the world. We're back there saying, I don't want to be around anybody who makes me feel bad. I want to be around everybody who makes me feel good. And you've made me feel good yesterday, but now you've said something that makes me feel bad. I better train you not to say that. And we're out there manipulating everything and everybody to try and make the world be, every minute, every situation, everything we're doing, to make the world be such that it doesn't bother us. In other words, I'm not okay. That's my starting position. And now I need to find out how to be okay. I need to find the right people, right place, situations, travel, this, that. I'm all excited. I'm going to go somewhere. I'm sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Why? Because you should be all excited with not going anywhere. There's nothing wrong with going somewhere, but I'm not okay. And I'm going to take a trip and this is going to make me be okay. I can't wait to get there. The question becomes, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Keep running after whatever it is that makes you feel a little bit better and doesn't hit your stuff? Or once and for all saying, no, I'm getting rid of this stuff. I'm getting rid of this stuff. I'm not going to spend another minute of my life protecting myself from myself. You did this. You held that inside of you. You didn't have to. Like I said, events that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, as far as I'm concerned, 10 minutes ago, are over. If they're not in front of you, then they're not reality. You have screwed up reality by building all this stuff inside of you, and now you're running after compensating for the problems you created inside yourself. That is when you're on a spiritual journey, when you're willing to talk that honest and that real, and you realize that every moment of your life is not about getting what you want. Getting what you want is so overrated, it's ridiculous. The question is, why do you want it? Because I'm not okay. That's why I want it. But why are you not okay? That's not overrated. That's the difference between spirituality and not spirituality. I want it, it makes me feel better. Good, go ahead, do your thing. Because you're not going to get anywhere. Why? Because you're going to wake up the next morning and you want something else. It can't fix what's wrong with you. If you don't feel love and you need someone else to come and give you love, no, love is something, what did Mayor Brother say? It must spring spontaneously from within you. It cannot be coerced or affected by anything else. It's your inner state. So if you need something to create that inner state, there's something wrong. I'm not accusing you. It means there's something wrong. If you need to go to a doctor because your foot hurts, there's something wrong. If you need something outside in order to feel love inside, there's something wrong. And I've told you what's wrong. You blocked the flow of your Shakti. You blocked the flow of your love. How? By putting all this stuff in there. What stuff? The stuff you couldn't handle. The stuff that didn't make it through. Hey, first of all, I don't want you to feel bad that there's something wrong with you and you're not very high. Let me show you how high you are. 99.9% of every single thing that passes before you makes it right through. And probably there's more than 0.9s after that. The clouds, the leaves, every leaf, every tree, the white lines on the road, everybody walking down the street that you don't know, all the cars on the road. They're saying that. You had a whole lot of stuff in there. They just, it goes right through, doesn't it? I'm telling you, 99.9%, you're done. You're a highly evolved being, all right? That 0.1, that's something else altogether. There are things that don't make it through, aren't there? And you have to decide. If they don't make it through, first understand you stop them. There's another quote in the new book. There's a new book coming out. Another quote in the new book is my favorite. Just do this very slowly. I'll make a statement to you. The moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. That's it. That's spirituality. All right? Well, stop it. How do I not be bothered? Stop bothering yourself about it. That's where we started. You bother yourself about something very different than what she does. You'll all do it differently. Why? If you don't want to be bothered, why are you bothering yourself? Why are you sitting there saying, I don't want to be bothered, therefore everybody else has to be the way I need them to be so I won't be bothered? Not only everybody else, watch this. I got a party outside tomorrow or going golfing and doing something. It's cloudy out tonight. You're bothered because it's cloudy out. Yes or no? You're bothered because tonight it's cloudy out. Wait a minute. The clouds can't bother you. They're not coming out. Not even doing anything. You are bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. So basically, you catch on that you did this. It is inside of you, and you are completely in control. And that's no one will say that to you. You're completely in control. Not in a moment. It takes some time. Why? If you're addicted to a drug, you did that. I'm sorry. You were the person who chose to do that drug. And then you kept doing it, and everything kept falling apart. Now you have woken up enough to where you've gone for help, and you said, I want to get off this drug. I don't want this drug running my life. Good. That's a wonderful start. That's not the end. There's this thing called withdrawal. Well, guess what? There's this thing called withdrawal. You have done a mess in there. You kept every single thing that ever hurt you, bothered you inside. And now you're trying to control people, places, and things around you so they don't bother you. And the fact that you found a few situations, a person, travel, or this or that, a job that makes you feel somewhat better, fine. I'm not telling you, this is not a path of renunciation. You not sit there and making sure you don't ever be happy. You're just sitting there saying, why am I not okay? It's not true that you're not okay because you don't have the right job. It's not true you're not okay because you don't have the right relationship. It's not true you're not okay because you didn't have your third child. That's not true. The example I always use is you ate stuff that made you really sick. Your stomach's really hurting, and you're looking for the Pepto-Bismol, and you can't find it. You look around, you go everywhere, and a friend walks in and says, "What's wrong?" "I can't find the Pepto-Bismol." That's not what's wrong. What's wrong is your stomach hurts. And what's wrong is you ate bad food. So it's not true that you need all these things. You need them because you messed yourself up inside. And so you just decide, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this work. And is there withdrawal? Yes, there's withdrawal. You mean it's not going to all be lovey-dovey and gaudy and I found my way? No, it's not going to be like that. What's it going to be like? It's going to be like, at times, not all the time, but at times, that which you stored that bothered you when you were 5 is going to come back up. But this time, you're going to welcome it. Why? Because I don't want it in me. I do not want it running my life for the rest of my life. I do not want that determining who I marry or how long I stay married. And it is determining that. It's what determines how you think. It determines every decision you make, how your heart feels when it opens and closes. And so you eventually get to the point where you say, I am going to devote my life to letting this stuff go so that I can explore my being, not my blocked being, but the true being. And I'm telling you, as everyone that ever walked this journey has told you, way beyond me, all right, there's joy in there. How do you know how to put it? There's a river of joy flowing inside of you at all times. Go there, find it, get in and drown. I added that last part. He just told you about the river of joy. Okay? Every single one of you, no matter whatever happened to you, no matter how traumatic it was, no matter how bad, no matter how much a mess you made hurting other people, it does not matter. Because if it's not inside of you and you've tuned yourself back into the higher part of your being, it falls off. Literally, the karma falls off. Everything falls off. But you have to be willing to let go. If all of a sudden you wake up and you realize, oh my God, I got divorced years ago and I blamed her or him and it really was me. I didn't see it before. I just see I was caught and I fought and did. And you look at that and you feel remorse and you feel terrible. Good, that's wonderful. Now let go. No, don't I have to keep feeling that? No, you do not have to keep feeling that. If you can tune in enough to where it changes you, you're actually letting go of what caused you to be like that. That's holy stuff. Don't you dare be embarrassed by that. Don't you dare be ashamed of that. Don't you dare think you have to somehow go back and undo it. You can't undo it. But you can let it go. If you had been letting go at that time, you wouldn't have done it. If you went out and ran around or did this or did that, okay, and left somebody and left a kid. People do all kinds of things. Do you understand that? And then maybe later in their life, they wake up and go, gulp. What was I doing? What was I thinking? They weren't thinking. They were reacting based on the stuff they were trying to avoid. It's not working for me anymore. I told you that's my favorite thing somebody says in a relationship when they're breaking up. It's my favorite one. Well, why are we breaking up? Why'd you break up with her? It just wasn't working for me anymore. What in the world does that mean? It means that when I first met them, it caused me to feel all this joy and all this love. But it doesn't do that anymore. It's just not working for me anymore. In other words, you had stuff inside you that was blocking you. Whatever particular characteristics of this situation, this person, what they said, how they looked, how they talked. Some people like smart people, some people like tall people, some people like good-looking people, some people like whatever it is. Then all of a sudden you open up and then something else happens and you change and they change and situations change. Time goes by. That's what happens in a relationship if they have a honeymoon period. And then they have to pay the bills together. Then somebody gets sick, and then this happens, and that happens. And all of a sudden, you build stuff inside of you around the other person. That's what you're used to doing with everything else, so you do it with them too. The next thing you know, that love's not flowing as much, is it? Okay? You did that because you couldn't handle the situations that were unfolding in front of you and let them go like you let the other 99.9% of the things go. And you just learn, I have to learn to do this. How much you have to. It is the meaning of my life. Right now, the meaning of most people's lives is getting what they want and avoiding what they don't want. And they're just running after that. In other words, my samskaras are running my life. Well, at some point, you make a commitment. No, my samskaras are not going to run my life. What's going to run my life? Inside, the depth of my being. And I'm going to let go of this stuff as it comes up. And if it hurts, good. Wow. That's how you get. That's a serious person on the path. I am going to spend my life letting go of my stuff. How do you do that? I'd like to say it's easy. It's easy to know what to let go of. It's not easy to do it, no more than it's easy to go through withdrawal on a drug. But you know what you have to do. So what happens is every day stuff's going to hit your stuff. At work, stuff's going to hit your stuff. Relationship, stuff's going to hit your stuff. There's stuff hitting your stuff, isn't it? Okay, let go. Let go. What's the best way to do that? The traditional way, which really is what ends up happening. You have to commit yourself to something higher than your personal self. Maybe it's a sadhana. Maybe it's a spiritual practice. Morning, evening, meditation, yoga, mantra, whatever you want to do. You just basically commit yourself to that. Now, some people say 15 minutes is enough. You know what? It is. It is not the time. I don't care, you can meditate 6 hours. I used to do that. All right? Fine. I still don't let go of my stuff. It's everyday life. My long meditations were about getting above my stuff so I could feel joy. But you came back, it's still there. Sorry. I'm not telling you not to meditate. Meditation is a wonderful thing. But it's a wonderful thing for getting centered enough so that every minute of your life is about your growth. At work, relationships, kids, driving to soccer, sickness, every single thing that happens to you, you have an opportunity to let go of the lower part of your being, the part that you have trouble with. It's causing trouble inside, isn't it? Remember, the moment in front of you can't bother you, you're bothering yourself. Or what about if you let go of the part of you that's bothering myself? And you just keep doing it. And if you will just keep doing that, oh my God, come see me. I want to see you. You're a totally different person the moment you start doing that. The moment somebody says something to you and your ire gets up like that and you realize, no, I don't care what they said. I don't care what they said. This is not going to go on inside of me. But I'm not going to suppress it because then it's still going on inside of me, just hidden behind the doors. I am going to relax, breathe, and let go of what came up inside of me, because this isn't the first time I ever saw it, and I don't want it inside of me. Simple as that. Some of you guys you eat organic, and your diets are clean, and this, that, and the other. Some of you do exercise. Why? Because you want to be healthier. Well, how about inside? This is how you do it. You let go. You just let go. That doesn't mean you don't deal with stuff. Once you let go and you stop reacting to your reactions, eventually you will get used to doing that, and then you'll find that you're in a deeper place inside, and it's calm. It's always calm. There's no storms going on in there. There's nothing driving you except for the commitment to let go. Intent is everything. If I ask somebody, what was your intent? And their intent was not to keep their sadhana. Their intent was not to commit themselves to letting go of themselves. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, fine. If you don't want to do it, then you'll keep that part of yourself. There has to be this intent to let go of yourself, to let go of the part that's causing the problem. And I say one way to do that is you commit yourself. I'm not going to tell you what your commitment should be. I'm not interested. But you commit yourself to something, and then you do it all the time, every single time. And you're going to see that'll stir your stuff up. You have to commit yourself to saying, the way I am right now, where I'm reacting to all my past stuff, and I'm protecting myself, and I'm running after things, and just, that's it. Chicken with your head cut off. You're not reliable. You never know what's going to happen, because whatever comes up, that's what you're going with. You start to work on yourself. That's what it's called, work on yourself. And how do you work on yourself? You let go of the stuff as it comes up. That's all. That's what it's about. Everyone's got different stuff, so there's no teaching that's going to go right to your stuff. Just basically, you know what I'm talking about when it comes up. Are you willing to let it go? And as I said, that's at work and your relationships and everything. If you will do that, you will. There's nothing to talk about. You're the most beautiful being that walked the face of the earth. And I'm not exaggerating. What is going on inside of you is the highest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. But not if you're reacting to your blockages. If you're not being the self, if you're being this garbage that you collected inside, this psyche that you built inside yourself, then that's what you're giving to the world. That's what you're doing. Instead, you start letting go. You let go of that. You let go. And eventually you will find yourself in a place where there's always joy. And I mean always joy. And there's always love. You want to feel love? You're a yogi, you're yogini, wave your hand in front of your fourth chakra, and waves of ecstatic love will come up inside of you every single time, no matter what's happening. That's where you got yourself, by letting go of the blockages that are stopping that from happening. That is a spiritual life. So you work on yourself. You commit yourself to letting go of this stuff you stored inside. And it will go. And when it goes, it becomes the higher energy. It's called transmutation. I'm going to stop. But I hope you're listening. You have a life that is so beautiful. You're such a great being. You can still go about your business, but let go. It's something you do inside yourself. It's not about leaving your husband or leaving your kids or running off to India. You don't have to go anywhere. You have to do anything. Just inside, let go. Just be willing to let go every time and wait till you see what happens. All right? Every day of your life, you can be higher than you were the day before. Just let go of some of that stuff. Thank you, Jagaradev.